All right, guys, as you all probably know, George Zaharoff did collaborate with three YouTubers to come out with those three YouTubers' fragrances. So, if they could make a fragrance, what would they make? Well, I'm going to review the final one that I have not reviewed yet. I was waiting for a little bit cooler weather. Didn't really get the cooler weather, but I did get a couple extra wearings in. This one is going to be my review of the collaboration between Zaharoff and Curly Scent, and it's The Siren. Welcome to the Fragrance Wardrobe. All right, guys, before we begin, I do want to remind you, if you like this video, find it informative in any way, please do give the video a thumbs up. Also, comment down below, have you tried anything from the Zed Creators line? If so, what did you think? Also, hit the red subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. So, as I stated, Curly Scent and George Zaharoff did collaborate to come out with the Siren. Curly Scent did get to basically create the fragrance that she wanted to create. The Siren is what she came up with. So the presentation on these look really good. I was pretty impressed by the box presentations on all three of the fragrances. The bottles, they are the standard Zaharoff bottles. So let's go ahead and start with this box. Curly Scent, the Siren, a little nod to Greek mythology there. The box looks really cool. So that's going to be like a plaque right there, like a little cardboard plaque on the box. Looks great. I like the artwork. Pretty artistic. I really dig that. And the bottle, these bottles are patented. The designs are by George Zaharoff. Looks great. You have Curly Scent and Zaharoff written on the side of the bottle. And the cap, you twist and pull. Cap is weighted. And your atomizers look pretty good. Good atomizer. All right, so like I said, I was kind of waiting for cooler weather to prevail here in Texas before getting a second wearing of this in to review. But I have heard that the Siren is very low in inventory, so I figured I'd go ahead and get this review out. So if you are one of those people who are considering picking up a bottle, you kind of know what to expect when you get it. So out of all the Zed Creator fragrances, I feel like the Siren is probably going to be the most challenging to pull off. Some people who, I guess, prefer maybe a little bit more of a mass appealing, almost like a retail type of fragrance, you might have a little bit harder of a time pulling this fragrance off. It does have those niche qualities, a really nice original scent to it. Just the way the notes are, it might be a little bit challenging. So keep that in mind before you pull the trigger. All in all, though, I really dig the fragrance. The note breakdown on this thing, I'll go ahead and read it off of the little card you get from George Zaharoff. So in the top, you're going to have ginger, you'll have coriander, you're going to have cardamom and almond. In your heart, coffee, leather, white moss, dark chocolate accord, and your base, patchouli, Laurinix, cognac accord, and vetiver bourbon. So when I first spray this thing, I get hit with the boozy accord, or whatever. I get hit with that cognac. It's like, when I first spray this, that's what I pick up. I pick up a booziness. I pick up a pretty decently realistic type of booze accord in the opening. Now, once this thing begins to dry down, that's where some of the other notes kind of come in and mesh and make this thing not so much just a boozy type of scent. Now, I understand some people will get chocolate on their skin. I understand some people pick up the chocolate. I don't. I've had one person say that they pick up iodine. I definitely don't get that, but I do get the booze in the opening. Now, once it begins to dry down, for me, I get a little bit of that coffee and that leather coming up and mixing with the booze. So it kind of transforms the fragrance, in my opinion, into a little bit more of a leather leading fragrance, at least on my skin. A little bit animalic type of leather, but not totally that direction, but it is a pretty decent leather, I think. I do think that the way that leather note is composed, and just the oil in general that's used in here, I do feel like that's probably going to be what makes this a little bit more challenging for some people. Some people, if you don't like leather, I probably wouldn't get this one, because if you're like me, the leather's going to come out on the dry down. Some people it doesn't really come out, but if you're like me and it does, you're probably not going to like the fragrance, because you do pick up that leather pretty well in this fragrance. But you still keep the cognac, you still get a little bit of that coffee mixing in there, and for me it smells pretty good. It's, yes, a little bit challenging, but I like that. I like that type of scent, especially for cool weather. Now the performance on this, really good. Like I said, I wanted to wait until the fall or the winter to really start wearing this, but I did want to get the review out, so I did wear it when I first got it, and I wore it to work the other day. I guess, what was that, like maybe Tuesday night. So I sprayed this thing Tuesday at about 10 a.m. and on my drive home at like 3:30 in the morning, Wednesday morning, had the windows down on the car, cruising down the highway at 75 degrees, picking up that cool breeze, and I'm catching that fragrance just kind of all around me. It's, the wind is wafting it all up in my face. It was pretty good. So the performance, it's pretty strong. I didn't have to reapply with this one. Out of all three of the Zed Creators fragrances, this one outperforms the other two, and it's probably because you're using some a little bit more dense type of notes. You're using, some of those notes that are a little bit darker, richer notes that do tend to hang around a little bit longer. Not always, but a lot of times they do. So the longevity on this is extremely good. The projection, pretty good as well. I mean, depending on how heavy you spray, that's really going to determine how much you're going to project with this one. If you kind of do a normal wearing, what most people I would guess consider a normal wearing, you're probably going to have a good like 4 feet around you type of radius for a couple of hours. If you go a little bit heavier, it's going to be a little bit more than arm's length, and you're going to have your sillage, your scent trail. People are going to pick up the way you smell. Some people are going to like it, some people are not going to like it. Like I said, it is a little bit more challenging with those richer, darker notes, especially when the leather starts coming out on skin. So some people who are not a fan of that may not really be a fan of this fragrance. Times to wear this one, definitely cool weather. But at the same time though, I wore it on like a 96-degree day, and it didn't like overpower me too much. Now, it was too hot for this fragrance when I wore it, but it wasn't like so much so that I had to get it off or anything like that. It was pleasant, but at the same time a little bit like challenging to keep on during the heat of the day. Now, once, like I said, I was driving home at like 3:30 a.m. It was like 75 degrees. Yeah, it worked out pretty well. So fall, going to be great for the fall, going to be great for the winter, and it's going to have the ability to cut through the cold air. So really good fragrance, performance-wise, scent-wise. It's very unique, a little bit more challenging. Probably what a lot of people are looking for in a niche fragrance. All right, guys, I do appreciate you watching the video. If you found this video informative in any way, please do like the video, comment down below. If you have any questions about the fragrance, I'll try to answer them for you before you make that decision to buy the fragrance. And of course, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. I did try to get as, in-depth and keep it as short as possible with this review. So hopefully it was informative before you guys pull the trigger on it. All right. Again, thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.